Here, everybody. It's going to be February 15th today. It's after Valentine's Day. A friend of mine is wondering if he should buy this dome, and I got it on. He sent me the address so I could look around on Google Earth, zoom in, zoom out, and that got us to talking together about, these different ideas of the dome home and just home in general. And you see, Fuller was really an industrialist. You could call him a frustrated industrialist because he was trying to start this startup business called, well, we call it the industry mist, which is not quite that it was missed. I would say the mobile home industry is what we got. It became more expedient to deliver by freeway than helicopter. Helicopters were needed for other things. That's not entirely it, because these Dymaxion houses, they could also be fit in, say, a container, like in container shipping. So even though they're shaped to go down the freeway, they could come out of the container and become something much bigger. And the same was true for the domes. They could be sent in shipping containers. So there was this whole industry, but it was based on like standardization. And our idea of a home is everybody gets a one off, kind of like a tombstone is supposed to be custom to you, or, the idea that everyone has an identical house or apartment is often used as a vision of totalitarian, right? When we try to teach people what is evil, it's often like, what's that movie, Wrinkle in Time, where everyone comes out and bounces the ball at the same time and goes back in? Every house is identical. We scare ourselves with the idea of an army of uniform robots, who can't think for themselves and stuff like that. And I think if you wanted to turn Fuller's utopian vision into a dystopia, that's the kind of thing that you would, try to get people to think. Hey, Sydney, got my dog down here. It's a chocolate lab in the room, and I also have a python in the room. And I live in a very quirky, my house is kind of one of those unique, one of a kind, nothing else quite like it, ad hoc, built in 1905, added onto in ways I really don't know. And the Fuller projection, let's go there, not Fuller projection, the Dymaxion House that I got to visit, right? We've been here before in this channel, but let's go back. Dymaxion House, this is an album where my daughter and we toured around. It's at the Henry Ford Museum, right, in Dearborn, Michigan. So this is the one fully restored house that you could call it a house. Fuller preferred to call it a dwelling machine because he was trying to get us away from the stereotype of, the cottage with the white picket fence and all that. He wanted people to have something they could not have to pay off their whole lives. Like, these were supposed to be affordable, and they were supposed to appeal to whoever was going to be doing the parenting. It was to be a low stress lifestyle because Fuller was very sensitive to family dynamics. There's this thing is when you wanted to paint this lifestyle that he was dreaming of as cold and totalitarian, then you tend to want to paint Fuller the same way as a gray suited technocrat, no emotion, tried to approach the world as just techno fixes, all these stereotypes. It's easier for me to see all that as just FUD, right? Stir up those kind of like images because you don't want people going down this road of expecting higher living standards. They need to just be happy with their mobile home and shut up, right? And don't expect American industry to innovate in this direction of giving you more alternatives in terms of, lifestyles, right? We're not supposed to. That was Fuller's thing. He would short circuit the establishment and go advertise kind of directly to the end user. Wouldn't you like to live this way? Wouldn't this be cool? Wouldn't this be a bright future? Right? Talk directly to the end user. That was what all his talking was about. Because if it's left to the inertia of institutions, which have dug in and entrenched themselves, and as we know, as AI bots, the corporations will gladly wipe us out because that's profitable. The way they're designed, I'm not talking about some futuristic dystopia. I'm talking about the way it is right now. Corporate persons, so called, those are the AI bots. They're phony intelligence, right? On paper, they look good. We all think we're getting rich. Meanwhile, the actual planet's being trashed, right? Because we're running on creaky, old, tired lawyer boilerplate, that no one has the power to think about or challenge anymore. We've kind of surrendered our ability to be social engineers. In fact, that very term is demonized because it's a little bit too close to what we actually would need, isn't it? So I've been having some good times over on the Math for Wisdom list. I've got the ideas pretty carefully expressed, what we've been going on about here on the YouTube channel, the link between Freud and Bucky, invisible is more important than the visible, discussion of the unconscious as well as the conscious, those kind of things. That's synergetics. It's got to have a psychological dimension. If you treat it as particle physics, then you're probably very shallow, right? And that's the problem with a lot of STEM people reading synergetics, is they immediately want to turn it into particle physics. They want to make it just a wading pool, nothing deep, right? Got to watch out for that. Good to have more humanities readers flooding in. Those are the kind of people we need, right? Okay, things going good over here. I'm paying attention, as you know, from my last video. I don't have anything new to add, though. Talk to you soon.